this comparison? I mean, obviously, you know which is which. How do you view these two when you look at them? Your eyes, different than our eyes.
Of course, that's when I won Olympia. So,
what do you see when you see these?
not much of a difference.
Not much of a difference.
Maybe, maybe a little down from here because I'm older and it's hard to have the same fullness and muscle bellies. I have to do a lot of work versus back then. I could eat 4 meals and look like that. I had to carve up, I had to eat 10 meals, 10 fucking meals to keep my fullness because it's crazy. I'm older, but my metabolism is even more crazy.
Because you're eating that many meals?
I had to, I would have really been flat. Back then, I didn't have to do that. And I stayed full. So it's about making adjustments. You gotta know your body. Most people would try to do, I'm gonna do the same thing I did back when I did this, when I won this show. You can't work that way. You gotta know how to make the adjustments. You gotta know when you're flat, when you need to add more food, when you need to stop cardio. You gotta know how to do all of that stuff. That's what I've mastered over the years. That's why I've lasted so long.
So what is it like eating 10 meals a day? I mean, that's gotta be crazy to eat 10 meals a day.
To be honest with you, for the very first time I had to do that, I ate every 2 hours. I started at about 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. Every 2 hours I ate.
Yeah.
And I actually was getting hungry from meal to meal. So it was,
Wait, you're getting hungry meal to meal?
I was getting hungry from meal to meal.
Now, what is a meal? Define a meal.
A meal is 1.5 cups of rice with, 6 ounces of meat, or.
So you eat 6 ounces of meat type.
Well, when I was carving up, then it was probably 4 ounces. Okay. So I was eating 4 ounces of meat with 1.5 cups of rice every meal for 10 meals.
10 meals?
Yeah.
How many times are you going to the bathroom?
I was going pretty regularly.
Regularly, like 2-3 times a day, or you have to? You have no choice because you're eating so much.
Right.
Any side effects of eating that much? Like, do you have headaches? Are you heavier? No. Are you sleeping? Is it tougher to sleep or no?
No. Because my body was, because of the great digestive enzymes I was telling you about.
The secret sauce. The secret sauce. The secret sauce.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Put it this way, they're so good versus, the ones that I take versus the ones that you get out of the store. The one you get out of the store, you gotta take every meal. You take one a day of these, that's it.
The one you got?
One.
Right, sounds good. So next, evolution of diet. Anything we can learn from. For all your years of competing, anything that, not even a professional bodybuilder, when you're looking at somebody that wants to build up muscle, you hear all this stuff about 1 gram of protein per weight. What things were stuff that they talked about 20 years ago that doesn't apply today because of how much more smarter and wiser the industry's gotten? Any major misconceptions with diet?
Everything is pretty much around the same. You got different supplements these days, of course, that you didn't have back then. But the main thing is being consistent with your eating. That's number one. You have people that, get on a diet and they don't see any results, but they're skipping 2 meals a day, then you're not following the full program. So being consistent with eating all your food when you're supposed to do it, on time every day, is very important. And I live by that. I brought my legs back up. My legs was big and everything, so conditioning was crazy. Because for this competition, I actually dieted 100%. I didn't do all the stuff that, you always have. I've always had where I said to myself, if it's not broke, why try to fix it? So there was things that I was doing, like eating peanut butter every night. I did that my whole career. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna actually follow the diet this time because there's some reason I'm not getting back into the conditioning that I used to get into. With my abs deep and my lower abs good and all that stuff, I wasn't seeing that. So I said, you know what? Let me try something different this time. I'm gonna cut all of that crap out. I cut everything that I used to do that I always believed in keeping in my diet, because I'm the blade and I can get away with it. I cut it all out. and I actually followed the diet, and man, I was so peeled and shredded. I mean, this was days, weeks out, and we had to actually slow it down a lot. And but as you saw, at 50 years old, I was right on point. Looked like I was 10 years ago. My body, man, my waist is tight. Everything was so good, and I thought I pulled that win out this past weekend.
You thought you
Oh
thought you
yeah,
won.
of course I thought I won.
And this is not just